Hi everyone, this is Neil Wright-Tear, consultant audiologist and director of Clearwax. Thank you for joining me in my latest video using the iClearScope endoscope. And here we have a patient who attended with bilateral blocked ears. They've got quite dry plugs of wax in both ears. They reported their left ear that you're seeing on screen now being the worst ear out of the two, so we commenced with this side. I just installed some medical grade olive oil right at the beginning of the procedure because I could tell it was just too dry, and sometimes when it's a really dry, hard consistency, it's difficult to get a suction grip. Therefore, just a little bit of oil will help soften the surface and allow the suction tip to grasp hold of the wax and create an airtight seal, a suction seal if you like, and that will help remove these plugs. So remove quite a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to take a still image at the end to show you guys the contents. So this piece is slightly lodged, so we're giving it a little wriggle. It was quite surprising how much wax there was in their left side. They've got quite a bendy ear canal, so as I'm extracting this, I'm having to navigate the curvature of their ears, and in their left ear, I'm going to suction it right to left, so it's just lodged where the second bend is, and that top piece of wax was actually connected to this lower section. I thought it was two separate pellets, so I'm just grabbing onto this bit here, just rolling it on its side, and then just going to bring it out of the ear. There we are. That's a sizable piece. Now this wax is darker, as you can tell, so it's been there for longer. Now wax is normally secreted on the outer third of the ear canal. However, if you get a buildup of wax, the fresher secreted wax tends to push some of the older wax deeper into the ear canal, kind of pushes it backwards if you like, but also the wax that's deep in the ear, once it's there, it's not going to get as much natural oils and sweats, which are again secreted on the outer third. So it can also be a bit drier as it gets deeper in the ear. Occasionally, however, when you've got a completely blocked ear canal, it can create humidity deep in the ear. So in that instance, you can get some wax that's a bit mushier. It can work both ways. Everyone's wax is different, and the way it behaves in the ear is different. But you can see these are really dark pellets. Now the eardrum is unobstructed, so sound waves can get through. There's just a bit of wax, dry skin on the anterior canal wall, right from the second bend there to the eardrum. So we're just going to gently peel this away. We want to avoid making contact with the canal wall in this region because it's the bony part of the ear. I think I'm using the 17 gauge suction tip, so it's a lot quieter and it's narrower, so I've got a bit more precision about where I'm positioning the suction tip. There's just a bit of skin here. I'm going to just lift up, peel away. If there wasn't a bit of that skin protruding outwards, I probably would have left that because it was not really significant, but it was easy to grab a hold onto. And I'm just going to mop up at the entrance. This is a good visual of how bendy the ear canal is. I'm looking straight into the ear, but the eardrum is veering off to the left. Now moving on to the right side again, I've just put some medical grade olive oil spray, so it's just got a bit blurry because the oil's in there. Now, although this ear wasn't affecting the patient as much as their left, although they did notice their right ear to be more blocked than they perceived after I cleaned their left ear, it was a bit more compacted, a bit more tricky to remove this side. I had to use the ear hook. So as I'm bringing this away, I think a bit of skin attached to some wax comes out from the anterior canal wall. There we are, so this is a sheet of skin. Just clean the lens. So this is trapped between the first and second bend, this piece here. The first bend is just to the left where you can see those hairs protruding out, and you can see a bit of reflection because the cartilage is reflecting the light off the endoscope. So it's going to enter the ear, stretch the ear to the left. See, it was a bit narrower. that allows me to gain access with the suction tip. So I'm just going to lift this up and away. And similarly to their left ear, as the wax was deeper in the ear, it was darker, so it's been there longer, it's oxidized. It has less sebum and ceruminous sweat, which is an oily lipid protein-filled sweat that's produced in the ear by modified apocrine glands. So you have two types of sweat glands. You have the eccrine sweat, which is involved in thermal regulation. So when you're exercising, or if it's hot, it's more of a water, salt-based sweat that you find on your brow. That type of sweat is normally not very odorous, but then you get apocrine sweat, which is more of an oily lipid and protein-filled sweat that you find under your armpits, in your groin regions, and also you have some modified apocrine glands called ceruminous glands, which are found in the outer third of the ear canal. And if you have, there's a specific gene, the ABCC11 gene, and if that, there's a single nucleotide mutation that can occur, and if you have an active ABCC11 gene, basically it codes for a protein which helps transport lipid-soluble molecules into the ceruminous glands. And when you have these lipid-soluble molecules, they bind with another, so they couple, and they're either odorous immediately, or when they are secreted to the surface of the ear canal, bacteria feed off it, and the bacteria then release an odour. But these lipid-soluble molecules also make the wax a lot wetter. So it's a mutation most commonly found in the Western countries. In the Far East, they have an inactive ABCC11 gene, so their wax is typically drier and less odorous, and they also therefore have less natural body odour under their armpits. So there's a bit to the left, but it's on the bony part of the ear canal. It's not really significant. There's nothing really hanging out for me to grab onto. I'm more than happy with that. I showed the patient that as well. A bit of wax is good for us. A bit of wax doesn't harm anyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, and speak soon. Bye.